Before we get started, I wanted to give a quick disclaimer. Please remember to be respectful at all times, as these are people's stories, life, and opinions that they are having, which are all okay to have. Also, some conversations might get a little too deep, which will make some of you guys uncomfortable. If that is the case, please remember that it is always okay to exit, and then I'll see you in the following episode. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Hello guys, welcome back to Floating Thoughts. If you're new here, my name is Lally and I am your host. If you are just returning, welcome back. Oh my gosh, it feels like forever since I've talked to you guys. Even though I've been a little bit present on my social media, I feel like it's been such a long time since I've filmed a podcast. It's actually been almost exactly a month and like a week. So for a podcast, that's actually a crazy amount of time because I have been giving you guys weekly episodes. So I know that it's just time to get back into it. So a little bit of updates. I am now on all platforms. So yay! If you are listening to this episode on Apple Music and on Spotify, let me know how you like it. If you like it a little bit better. I've always wanted to be like a person that you guys would listen to, on your way to work or when you're getting ready for work. And I kind of wanted to put it on all platforms because, for instance, for me, when I watch my podcast, even if they're on YouTube, I don't really see like the scenery or the person. I kind of, look at them. I know what they look like, of course, but after that, I kind of just, I'm doing something and I like listening to what's going on. And I kind of wanted to fit a little bit of me into you guys' lives. So I was like, what a better way to do it than, kind of give you guys also Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So if you have been using it, if you have subscribed to it, let me know how you guys like it. I hope that is working perfectly. If you are not watching me, I am in a very oversized little, I don't know what it's called. I wanted to call it a onesie so bad, but it's not a onesie. But it's just like pictures of my dogs all over. So I am a very comfort space, and also, I was thinking about how, I don't know why at first I thought that I hadn't seen you guys since like the beginning of December, but I didn't even say happy Thanksgiving to you guys. So I hope that you guys had an amazing Thanksgiving with your family. And I hope that you guys are having a great December and that it has been bringing you a lot of blessings to your family and you. I know that I did not mention Christmas, and I kind of want to dive that into a little bit into the next episode, so stay tuned for that. But oh my gosh, it is getting close to a whole new year, and I just kind of want to start off by inviting you guys to take a moment and appreciate how far you guys have come in this new in this upcoming not in this upcoming year, in this current year of 2024. I feel like sometimes we don't take that moment to really appreciate the things that are in front of us and be grateful for just the things that we have surpassed this year. I feel like we always talk about how some other people are going through it worse, or that we can just move on from whatever we went through. And whether it's happy moments or lonely moments or sad moments, it's something that we have overcome or have lived through. And I just want to say that it takes real strength to kind of just, live in this world. We have daily challenges and every day is a struggle one way or another. And I feel like sometimes we don't truly appreciate the fact that we've gotten through a specific day or kind of just made it far, I'd say. And so if you haven't told yourself that you are thankful that, one, you are alive, and two, that you've made it this far, I want to be that person for you today and tell you that I am truly grateful to have you guys here in this life, and that you are making it this far and that you've gotten this far, because tomorrow is truly, truly, truly never promised. So the fact that we are here today and you are listening to me and I am making this episode, it means a lot to me. Bringing up 2025, I have been kind of reflecting on everything that I have accomplished this past year and how kind of far I've gotten myself. And I think that I have learned a lot. And really this month, I have been kind of really taking in everything that has been happening throughout the year. And yes, I've been seeing like those TikToks of how, how like they show like, oh, like how much you think you didn't accomplish anything, and then you show all the stuff that you actually accomplished. And I kind of feel like that, but I have been feeling like I'm more so taking everything more, I'm making, well, how do you say it? Like I am being more intentional and paying attention to everything that I have been doing day by day up to now, because like I mentioned before, tomorrow is truly never promised. And I've been seeing all these things about like the vision boards and creating this life that you want to have for 2025. And don't get me wrong, I have always been a person that has been big on vision boards, not every single year, but every other year at least. And this year I kind of shifted as a whole. I feel like I started thinking of things very differently, and I like I said, I've been more intentional with everything I am doing. And I realized that a vision board is kind of me manifesting a life that I want. And I know a lot of you guys might do a vision board, so I'm not here to tell you that you shouldn't do it or do as you please. But I did want to share something that I am doing this year that might change your perspective on a vision board. And so I did do a prayer board. And a prayer board and a vision board are very, very similar, but the way you begin your prayer board and the way you what it would be the term for that? Like you create your prayer board is different, and the intention of this creation is different. So a prayer board is more so before you start, you kind of pray. And as humans, you are supposed to have goals and aspirations, because that's kind of how we go about our life, like what you're working towards, right? But this year I realized that manifestation and God are really two different things. And I have grown so much with God this year that I just feel like it would not be right of me to kind of shift to manifesting something in the world when I can pray about it and ask God for it. And the big difference is that sometimes God doesn't give us something because it's not for our own good. And while we question something, we don't know that he has a bigger purpose and a bigger plan for us, and a greater plan for us at that. So when I was thinking about like the vision board, I was like, oh, you know what? A vision board is not really that bad. It's just me creating the life that I want and knowing what I want to work towards. But when you do a prayer board, it gives you so much of the bigger picture, because what is a life without God in it? And I feel like, to me, it's literally nothing. And if I have something, they always talk about like wealth. You could be the richest man on earth, but if you don't have God, you don't have anything. Like you feel empty inside, and then you always are going to feel like there's something missing and you have that void. And I did not want to go into 2025 feeling that way, or feeling like I just deserve it all. I feel like it's okay to feel like you deserve better, But I feel like I'm going in with the intention of I deserve what God is has intended for me, you know? And so with the vision board, my prayer board, it's the same thing, but you're putting in the intent, like, God, this is kind of what I am praying for, and this is what I feel like I want to work towards. But it is also okay if you're not going to give it to me because it might not be beneficial for my own good. And so I really love the concept of that because, like I mentioned, it really shifted my whole idea of like manifestation and kind of not wanting, but this is kind of hard to also explain because I'm also learning more and more each day. But as a person that also, I never, how do I word this? And again, this is my personal opinion, but I just feel like you cannot serve the universe and you cannot serve God. You pick one, you know? And I feel like me, before I didn't know that I was kind of doing that. So that's really what kind of snapped me out of it. Like, oh, I can't just say that I love God and then I go and I'm starting like this whole manifestation and manifesting what I want. And I feel like the ideology behind it is social media. I feel like that is the new social norm. If you log in right now, especially right now, throughout this time period, you're feeling like everybody's creating vision boards, and there's this whole trend going around where it's like, I think it's like POV or I don't remember, but if you know what I'm talking about, it just basically says like, this is proof that vision boards work, and then they show the life behind, like what they put on their vision board and then the life that they're living, and then they kind of goes back and forth, and it's getting so much attention. It's on my For You page as well. So it kind of shows that in like the amount of likes that it's receiving and people saying that they're going to do vision boards this year, whatever. And I know it's been going for a long time, like before TikTok and before Instagram and stuff. But I feel like people seeing that, they're also becoming super like gullible towards that type of lifestyle. And I do think work goes behind it, but it's also, we don't know if these people are lying, right? And I have seen somebody talk about the prayer board, and a lot of the comments underneath there were kind of like, yeah, but I'm not okay with it not coming true. I need it to come true. And seeing things like that, I was just kind of like, oh my goodness, because to me, it's also implicating that you're going to get it no matter what. And you don't know what that no matter what's going to mean, you know, like what are you going to do about it? And so it's kind of scary to think about it that way. And it just kind of more so centered me that I am making the right decision with doing like a prayer board this year and kind of becoming intentional with what I am asking and what I am seeking. And I am really excited for that, honestly. I finished it early. Usually when I used to do vision boards, I would not do it until like the first. And so I finished it early, and I'm okay with, making it. And I do have my friend too, that she's doing it with me. Well, she did it. I think she's about to do it. And I think having that support us also makes you feel more supported in your journey. But even if I was doing it alone, I think taking that leap of making something new for this upcoming year is really inspiring for myself, if that makes sense. But I kind of, one of like my biggest goals this year is also kind of like minding my business. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but also very like straightforward. I think that I have not kind of been okay with how invested I've been with my phone and social media, and primarily TikTok. And I think they're supposed to say that TikTok's shutting down January 19th. I don't know if that's correct, but I feel like I have been so invested in all these people's lives and like influencers, really, that I have been like, I know exactly what's going on in their life, and I know not like literally, but like what they're posting. And sometimes I can see myself getting like upset over certain content and things like that. And I have not really liked that about myself, because I've really never been like that. And that is something that I really, really want to implement this year. And I feel like, I don't know if it has happened to you guys, but I feel like sometimes following other people makes you really compare yourself and question the life that you are currently living in. And sometimes it gets a little bit frustrating, because if you are doing the same thing that they're doing as far as like creating content, it can feel a little overwhelming to see that they have this life and you're doing very similar content and you're not to the point where they're at. And comparison is really a thief of joy. So I haven't like fully done it, if I'm being honest, because it's still like, I think it's just a routine that I have. I feel like it's just embedded in my routine, which is why I also feel like I need to just cut it off, because I do not like that. Like to click on it and then start scrolling and watching it, and then I start comparing my content. Even sometimes when I already have some type of content in mind that I want to create, I'll go on TikTok and then I'll never post that video. Like I'll have it in my draft for a long time and I won't post it, because then I'm like, oh, well, these videos are trending right now. Now I have to change it. And I kind of dim that light on myself, and I'm more so like saying like I'm not good enough, or that video's not going to do good. And there's been certain situations where I've posted a random video and that video has gone not viral, but has done pretty good in itself, and I was almost not going to post it. And so when I see situations like that, I know that I've kind of dug a bigger hole in myself, like gone too far searching for whatever I think I'm searching. And I just did not like that. So this year, that is one of my biggest goals. But I am starting now on that, just because, as I mentioned earlier, tomorrow's never promised. And I think sometimes we think that we have to wait till January 1st to kind of start working out or start eating healthy or just things like that. And I feel like we don't know if we're going to make it to tomorrow. And we're so worried about January 1st coming, and as sad as it sounds, is really realistic. We don't know if we're going to make it to January 1st. We don't know if we're even going to see 2025. And sadly, sadly, some of us are not going to even finish 2024. So many things can happen. And I think I kind of feel like lately I've just been more realistic with myself of like a lot of things that have been going on, and is kind of taking me on a different route. And it doesn't mean that I am more so like being a negative Nancy, but I am also using my time very wisely, because I feel like you just never know. And that's really the gist of it all. So I encourage you guys to kind of be grateful for where you have gotten so far and where you see yourself going, and obviously pushing to get to where you want to get, but also not forgetting that you have done so much to get to where you are now. And I know that 2025 is coming very, very, very soon. So if you feel like if you are going to do a prayer board or you are going to set goals for yourself, please remember that to make like very realistic goals as far as for like how you want to accomplish them, and kind of plan it out as well. Because I think sometimes we say that we put stuff out there, right? That, oh, I want to get a G-Wagon, let's say, right? And you're too lazy to go to work, and you don't go to work, or you don't you don't do anything to get the income, or whatever the case may be. That G-Wagon is not gonna fly from the ceiling and land on your yard and park itself in your garage and be like, it was on your prayer board, here you go. Like, there's still work that you have to implement behind it. Don't just sit around and think that just because it's on a piece of paper, it's supposed to come true. You have to put work behind it, and you do have to work for it. So when I say when I say be realistic with your goals, that's what I mean. If you don't have a plan, it's not just gonna come from the ceiling, and so that is one of the big things that I did want to talk about today, because I do see it being big on social media platforms. And also, to kind of finish off this episode, I know that I know it's probably a shorter episode, and I know I haven't been here for a while, but I have just been kind of, like I said, there's nothing crazy that's been happening. Honestly, it's just life. I feel like I have been focusing a lot more on myself and doing things that I kind of want to do. I started taking classes for workouts, and I am loving them, but I'm also dying on each single one of them. So, but it's been good. It's been really, really good, and it's been a challenge, and I love challenges. So it's something that I am truly enjoying. But to kind of close out this episode, I kind of want to do like a little bit of a challenge for you guys. If you are watching me through YouTube, comment below what are your top 5 things that you want to accomplish this year. And if you can, write a little bit of like how you plan to accomplish them, or whatever the case may be. And hopefully a year from now, God willingly, I'm still doing this podcast for you guys, and we can kind of circle around and see if that, like, if you how far you worked with that goal. And I kind of feel like it in a way is like a little structure, but make sure that these goals are also, like, again, very realistic. Don't say you want to lose 100 pounds in 2 weeks. Something just, I don't know, that you have been wanting to do, even if it's like you just wanting to try a workout class by yourself or pushing yourself. I think something that I truly, truly love is when you see other people, and also just strangers, supporting one another and saying, like, you can do it. I've tried this, or I've tried that. I think it's such a beautiful thing when, like, just humanity comes together. So if you are open, I would love to see you guys' comments of what is something that you want to accomplish this year. Also, what are your thoughts on a prayer board versus a vision board, and what are you doing this year, and how do you view those? And if you are, if you believe in God, do you do a vision board, or do you think of it the same way that I think of it, that just doesn't kind of sit right with you? I would love to see all of you guys' comments, and thank you guys so much for your support, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye.